The galaxy had long dismissed humans. To alien empires, they were fragile, expendable, and amusingly predictable. Across countless star systems, humans were forced into grotesque games of survival, designed more for entertainment than any strategic purpose. Death meant nothing more than a footnote in alien statistics. Yet on Deathworld, a planet notorious for its lethal storms, carnivorous wildlife, and landscapes that could shred the unprepared, humans had not just survived, they had evolved. High in the jagged canyons of Karos Ridge, a band of Deathworlders moved like shadows across the cracked stone. Their eyes, hardened by years of starvation, freezing nights, and impossible hunts, scanned the horizon with precision. Talia, the leader, crouched behind a jagged outcrop. Her gaze was sharp, alert, calculating. They think fear will break us. They don't know we've been forged by it. Around her, others nodded. Each carried scars, physical and unseen, from experiences the galaxy would have called torture. Their muscles were lean, honed from hunting beasts that could swallow a human whole. Their reflexes were faster than any alien scout's sensors. Their minds were sharper, their patience honed to a razor's edge. Survival alone had once been enough. Now, something greater stirred. Controlled, deliberate fury. Above them, alien patrols glinted in the sun, their ships slicing lazily across the sky, confident and arrogant. They were certain of their dominance. They did not notice the subtle traps laid in narrow passes, the clever diversions hidden in canyon crags, the camouflaged lines of humans poised to strike. Even a single misstep could turn these hunters into the hunted. Talia signaled. A rock slide tumbled down the canyon walls, initiated by a cleverly hidden charge. Alien scouts scrambled, shouting orders that could not overcome instinctive fear. Humans, cornered for generations, had mastered the art of patience and precision. By the time the aliens understood the danger, the humans had already disappeared into shadowed crevices. Night fell, but the Deathworlders did not rest. Fires burned low and whispers traveled along the rocks. They spoke of strategy, of the galaxy beyond the ridge, of allies who did not yet realize the storm was coming. Even here, on a planet that could kill a man in hours, humans felt the pulse of inevitability. Their oppressors had underestimated them. Talia studied her people, the harsh lines of their faces illuminated by flickering firelight. This is just the beginning. The words carried weight. Across countless worlds, humans were mocked, hunted, and humiliated. But these Deathworlders were different. They were the storm behind the calm, predators who would learn to survive the impossible. Soon, that storm would sweep the galaxy. A whisper echoed among the group, almost a prayer. No more mercy, no more games. Retribution will come. Somewhere in the stars, aliens laughed, blind to the growing threat. They did not see the prey sharpening its claws, not yet. But soon, every corner of the galaxy would know the Deathworlders had snapped.
The galaxy thought it had broken humanity. It was wrong. News of the execution spread like wildfire. A Deathworlder publicly slaughtered for daring to resist, broadcast across alien systems as a warning. Alien empires celebrated the cruelty, confident it would keep humans in line. But humans were not fragile. They were not predictable. And they were no longer afraid. Talia watched the broadcasts with quiet fury, her eyes reflecting the flickering hollow feed. Around her, the Deathworlders' camp was alive with purpose. Every strike, every act of sabotage, every clever trap they had prepared in the canyons and wastelands was now part of a larger design. Revenge was no longer personal. It was systemic. It was retribution, planned and patient. And it would be precise. The first coordinated attacks began silently. Alien supply convoys vanished into ambushes. Communications towers and surveillance satellites were disabled in lightning raids, leaving entire sectors blind. Humans moved with surgical efficiency, exploiting not brute force, but intelligence, improvisation, and the weaknesses the aliens themselves had ignored. Alien fleets that once seemed invincible were dismantled from within. Their own arrogance was turned against them. Even on worlds that had never seen Deathworlders, whispers of human defiance spread. Colonies inspired by the stories began to rise, attacking oppressors in smaller, cunning raids. What had been isolated incidents became a networked uprising. Humans were not just surviving, they were teaching the galaxy to fear them. In the heart of a heavily fortified alien city, a squad of Deathworlders infiltrated under the cover of engineered storms. Their movements were fluid, their presence undetectable. By the time the alien commanders realized what was happening, their soldiers had already fallen, their command protocols dismantled by human ingenuity. One human, armed with nothing more than a makeshift energy disruptor, had crippled a communications hub that controlled the entire city's defense drones. Across star systems, alien leaders panicked. They attempted negotiations, threats, and bribes, but the humans had no interest in mercy or compromise. Their patience had been honed over generations of persecution. They had learned to survive, and now they had learned to strike, without hesitation, without remorse. Talia addressed her group, her voice carrying both calm and fire. They thought fear would control us. They thought cruelty would break us. They are wrong. Every world they think safe will feel the storm. We are not just survivors, we are reckoning. The Deathworlders moved through the shadows, striking with precision and vanishing before Retribution could find them. Entire fleets, once symbols of alien dominance, were destroyed, scattered across space like debris from a collapsing star. The galaxy, which had long mocked humanity, was beginning to understand the truth. The humans of Deathworld had snapped. And this was only the beginning. The spark of retribution had ignited, and soon it would become a wildfire that no empire could contain. This is part 2 with full HFY momentum, showing humans turning oppression into tactical brilliance and organized vengeance. Next up would be part 3, where the humans escalate into full-scale assaults across the galaxy, cementing their unstoppable reputation. Should I continue with part 3?
The galaxy was changing, and it could feel the shift. Humans were no longer the hunted. They were the hunters. By now, the Deathworlder strikes had become legendary. Entire fleets obliterated by a handful of humans. Fortresses infiltrated and destroyed from the inside. Alien supply lines collapsing like dominoes. Talia stood on the observation cliff of Karos Ridge, watching the hollow feet of a newly liberated colony. Human ingenuity and adaptability had turned the tide. A single human engineer had reprogrammed alien defense drones to fight their own fleet, sowing chaos in the alien command structure. Across star systems, other Deathworlders used knowledge of alien biology and technology to craft weapons and traps that no conventional army could anticipate. The galaxy that had once mocked them now whispered their names with fear. The humans did not fight blindly. Every move was calculated, precise, and merciless. Small squads would penetrate alien fortresses undetected, disable critical systems, and vanish before the enemy could respond. Battles were fought not just with weapons, but with cunning, psychology, and an understanding of alien arrogance. Where others saw invincibility, humans saw exploitable weaknesses. Even alien species once allied with the oppressors began to doubt their loyalty. The humans' relentless efficiency exposed cracks in the Empire's alliances. Some quietly aided humans, passing along intel or sabotaging their own defenses. realizing that the Deathworlders were a force that no empire could withstand indefinitely. On the outskirts of a heavily fortified alien starport, Talia's team prepared for another strike. She glanced at her companions, each bearing scars and battle-worn expressions, yet radiating calm determination. Remember, we are not here to play their games. We are here to end them. The assault began at dawn. Using cloaked ships and underground tunnels, humans struck with precision, disabling communications, capturing critical officers, and turning the starport's automated defenses against their own fleet. Alien reinforcements arrived too late. Entire battalions were decimated, leadership decapitated, and chaos reigned. Meanwhile, on the galactic stage, word of the Deathworlders' victory spread like wildfire. Humans were no longer a footnote in alien records. They were the reckoning. Star systems that had once submitted without question now plotted alliances with humans. Fear of the Deathworlders was universal. Respect was grudging, but growing. Talia watched the aftermath of the battle, the devastation, and the surviving humans rallying together. "This is what they never understood," she murmured. "We do not break, we do not surrender, and we never forget." By the end of the campaign, humans had demonstrated something no alien could ever have predicted. Survival was just the beginning. They were adaptable, intelligent, relentless, and above all, united. The Deathworlders had become more than a species. They were a force, unstoppable and inexorably moving towards the heart of the alien empire itself. And at that heart awaited the final confrontation, where mercy would be meaningless. Games would be over, and retribution would be unleashed in its fullest, most devastating form.
The alien empire's capital world trembled under the weight of anticipation. From orbit, vast fleets bristled with weapons meant to intimidate, to crush, to subdue. But humans, forged by Deathworld's merciless crucible, did not flinch. They came not to beg, not to negotiate, only to deliver what had been long overdue: retribution. Talia led the vanguard, flanked by squads of elite Deathworlders who had survived every imaginable threat, every impossible hunt, every torment designed to break them. Their eyes were sharp, their movements precise, their hearts cold with purpose. They were not fighting for glory. They were fighting for centuries of oppression, for the countless human lives mocked, enslaved, and destroyed. The assault began with a calculated strike on orbital defense stations. Using captured alien technology, the humans disabled the primary defense grid, leaving the city vulnerable. In seconds, waves of ships descended, not as a chaotic swarm, but as a disciplined, unstoppable tide. Alien fleets scrambled, but human tactics anticipated every move. Drones turned on their masters, turrets self-destructed, command channels were flooded with disinformation. On the planet's surface, Talia's ground teams infiltrated fortified zones. They moved silently, striking with improvised weapons and ingenuity born of survival. Explosions shook the streets, but the humans' objective was surgical: disable leadership, dismantle control structures, and make the invaders' own power work against them. Entire barracks fell in moments. Alien officers captured, their pride shattered. Every corner of the alien capital became a battlefield, and every street became a lesson in human cunning. One Deathworlder squad used the planet's toxic storm belts as camouflage, appearing out of nowhere to ambush an elite alien guard. Another team reprogrammed environmental controls to turn bioengineered defenses against their creators. What had been a city of fear and control became a labyrinth of chaos, each turn a trap, each shadow a human ready to strike. In the alien council chamber, leaders pleaded, threatened, and bargained. Talia entered,
her silhouette framed by the crumbling walls and smoke. "Mercy is gone," she said, her voice steady. "Your games are over, and your reckoning has arrived." The council attempted resistance, but it was futile. Humans, once underestimated, had become a force of unmatched strategy, endurance, and ruthlessness. The Deathworlders swept through, leaving no doubt. The galaxy would never again consider humans fragile, expendable, or predictable. As dawn broke over the ruined capital, the surviving humans gathered. Talia looked across the battlefield, the alien fleet scattered, their leadership broken. She did not smile. There was no triumph in vengeance, only the calm satisfaction of justice delivered. Across the galaxy, systems would rebuild, alliances would shift, and the story of the Deathworlders' wrath would be told for generations. The lesson was clear. Humans could endure the impossible, survive the unthinkable, and strike back with precision and ferocity unmatched by any species. Mercy was gone. Games were over. Retribution had been unleashed, and the galaxy would remember it forever.